Well, hi there. Um, I'm making this video so that we don't have to have a conference call interrupting your schedule, and you can look at this at your leisure. This video is intended for the ride marshals for the Tour de Pink, and we thank you very much for your time and for your concern and for your efforts towards this program. I'm going to reach from some notes because there are certain things that we really must cover and make sure that we identify them. I know that to some of you it will be a repeat and that you know most of this information. As a matter of fact, I think intuitively you know all of it. But for insurance purposes and for documentation, we're doing it on this video. So I ask you to look through the whole, just watch the whole thing. I'll try to keep it brief, and I'll just go through my notes. And we thank you for your participation. So for the sake of brevity, your responsibilities as a guide, you are to look at the links ahead of time. Look on Ride with GPS or whatever, to see the routes, the links, and to get an idea of what the cue sheets look like, so that you can help people as we go. You're a coach. Many of our riders are novices, and some of them are very, very new to cycling. So you're to be a coach to them to a certain degree. Teach them how to spin in a low gear, teach them how to shift, how to stay on the side of the road where they're supposed to be, and aside from being a drill sergeant type of coach, be a benevolent and kind one. You may be called upon to be a mechanic. Now, we have SAG vehicles that will be on call that can help change flat tires and do things that minor mechanical things that need to be done, but you may be called upon on the road to do that. Make sure that before we start the ride that you get some tubes, that you have a proper inflation device, and whether you use CO2 or a hand pump, make sure you have one. Get the tubes, get two types of valves, get a Schrader and a Presta, and from the race organization, from the ride organization, will provide them for you, and you can turn them back at the end. You should have a multi-tool and levers with you as well. Your bike. Now, you should be an example of a cyclist. To many of these riders, you're a professional. So make sure that your bike has good tires, that it's nice and clean, that your bike is not one of the tri-bikes. No tri-bikes, no time trial bikes, time trial bars, anything like that, because we ask the riders not to have them, because we know that in group riding they're not necessarily the safest and the best. So we ask that nobody use them, and you're an example. So if you have tri bars or something like that on your bike, clip-ons, please take them off for the ride. Make sure your phone is charged, because you can't call for help if you don't have if your phone is dead. In the event of emergency, be able to determine your location using Google Maps. That'll give you the information that you will need when you call the SAG number. And you also might need that for EMS if the emergency is such that you have to call 911. If there is a mishap, you're going to do the triage. You're going to determine whether it's a minor or a major type of call. If it's minor, you just assist them, call the SAG number, report what happened, and then you can go on your way. However, if there is a serious mishap, call 911 first. Call them right away, give them your location so that they can send out assistance, and then call SAG and report it. If it's minor or major, please text. Please text to Robin the rider number, the time, place, injury. You can also call But if you text it, then she can easily use that for making her report. What about a non-emergency ride call? If you have a flat tire or a bike repair, if you can handle it, fine. If it's just something, just a flat tire, change it for them and move on. If you need assistance, you can call SAG, the SAG dispatch, and one of the SAG vehicles will come out and help you. In the case of rider fatigue, now in some of these rides, there's an attempt often for a Sentry ride, and so for some people it might be the first time they even attempt a Sentry, so they may get tired. You can encourage them to go on, but if you detect that for some reason they shouldn't, showing signs of heat exhaustion or something like that, call the SAG for support and they'll come and pick them up. In such cases, I'd suggest that you might have to stay with them and let other riders that you might be with go on and waiting for SAG and wait for the assistance. Now let's talk about general deployment. We have a number of riders, anywhere between 150 to 200 riders, and a limited number of marshals, maybe 10 to 20. So we have to spread the love around. Here's the way we'd like to do it. First of all, no marshal should just be riding with other marshals. And a marshal should be almost as a single unit. I'll call it platoon leader. All right. Only one is needed per gruppetto. Never just have marshals riding without participants. This is not just to be a ride for the marshals. You're here to help the people that need some support and assistance. Marshals don't need to be riding up front. When we start out, there's a large group. Marshals should hang back a little bit, approximately 25%. And I'm just use that as a rough number. Roughly 25% are somewhat experienced riders, and they may want to go out and just go ahead and have their yayas and have a lot of fun and just go out and go. So we don't need marshals for the people in the front. The people that need help are further in the back. I'm going to say, if you're doing over 12 miles an hour, you probably should be dropping back to another group. Maybe if there's a group formed that's just not all the way out in front doing some good speed, and you could stay in the back of them and help them, that may be okay. But you'll have to judge that when you're on the road. Remember, you have to be somewhat aware of who needs help and who doesn't. Sometimes I would even say, if that kind of ride is a little bit difficult for you, just stay in a small ring. If you're a good experienced rider, you can do this whole thing in a small ring. It'll get you a little more spin, and it'll get you a lot of leg motion, and you feel like you get a different feel, of course. No, absolutely no motor pacing under any circumstances. We are required by our insurance company and by law to obey all traffic laws and signals. Sometimes at the beginning we get some police support and they'll wave us through some intersections. In that case it's okay, obviously, but once we're out on the open road and on our own, they are to obey all traffic laws and signs. Enforce the 2 abreast rule. Enforce it carefully. There's even some places where I have seen road signs where it say bicycles single file please. They even say please, but it's a point where the judgment is that bikes should be riding single file. You are the marshals, you are experienced, you can determine that. But please don't allow big bubbles where people are going 3 and 4 abreast, going out almost to the center line, causing any sort of problem that could come from traffic coming in either direction. So make sure that they adhere to the 2 abreast rule. No selfies, selfie sticks, because they can get, what could happen to them while riding. And that includes you. So if they want to take pictures, and we encourage that, of course, because they want to keep memories, do it off the bike and not while they're riding. If they have a GoPro or some other camera affixed to their bike, they can use that, but let's have two hands on the bars and under good control. And along with that, no cell phones. No cell phone usage while riding. No cell phone usage while riding. Rest stops. This is a very challenging event for a lot of people. So they look forward to the rest stops, and we have them about every 15 or 20 miles. Let's limit their time there. However, a rest stop should be about 10 minutes, and ask them, hey, let's go. It's not good for them to let their muscles set up anyway. The only time it might take a little bit longer is we provide a lunch, which is a sandwich of some sort, which might take a little more time. So you can allow for that. But under most circumstances, keep them moving along. Sweep rider. Here one Marshall's. We all look forward to the sweep rider coming in, because the sweep rider is the last person. Every day, you can either have one person do it for every day on the event, or alternate. But the sweep rider is the very, very last rider to come in, and you can choose that, or some. It's quite an honor. People really love it having your help. So the sweep rider will be the last person that comes in, and every day make sure that there's one, and let Robin or me know who the sweep rider is, so that we can monitor that and have our celebration when you all come in. Also, I think I must have mentioned it, or didn't mention it. I know. Things like helmets. They've got to wear their helmets at all times. So if you have any other questions, call us. We can clarify them. Make sure that you have the SAG number, and it's on all the numbers. It's everywhere. Okay, so make sure that your phone is charged, and you could call the SAG number if you have any questions. Whether you get lost on the road, a sign gets sometimes our directional signs get stolen, and we don't know about it. We can go back and repair it. If you have any other questions or need some assistance, please call that SAG number, and we'll get some to you. From me, from YSC, from G4 Productions, we thank you for being a ride marshal, and for taking time from your busy schedule to come out and help these other cyclists. So look forward to seeing you at the event, and bye.